أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and greeting and peace be upon our Master Muhammad, upon his pure household, upon his chosen companions, upon who follow them till the day of judgment. Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, is an international ideology. Exactly 1300 AD, 3 years ago, on the 10th of the month of Muharram, in a sand dune in the city of Karbala, about 100 kilometers south of current Iraqi capital Baghdad, 72 odd men were confronted by an army, 30,000, all armed to the teeth. And in those early of the afternoon, they took a massive military force to completely, utterly annihilate that small group of men, women, and children. The small camp of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, was destroyed. It suffered crushing defeat. All men were killed, some of them not even being called the men because of their young and immature age. The women and children, they were taken into custody, and they were taken in a humiliating display around the nation. And then everything was over, everything. Now, since that time, almost 14 centuries ago, we have a lot of battles, a lot of wars. Last century that we witnessed annihilation of 200 million people. It was only last century. We had First World War, we had Second World War. Forget of all minor and little battle that took place here and there. The Second World War caused the death of 17 million people. It caused the transfer of power and civilization from Europe into the United States of America. The geopolitical landscape of the entire world that changed because of that war. And yet, a small, insignificant battle that took place 14 centuries ago in the narrow river, in the bank of narrow river called River Furat, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of desert, it has much profound effect on our life and life of 1.2 billion people. I think I have mentioned 1.2 billion people observe the day of Ashura as a national holiday and a day of mourning. They don't take a day off to have fun. They don't take a day off for shopping. They take a day off to cry. They take day off to join that angels in their grief and sorrow. The entire subcontinent, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Iran, Iraq, former Soviet Union, Republic Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Turkey, and other countries from the west to the east, 1.2 billion people observe the day of Ashura as a national holiday and a day of mourning. This small battle has much profound effect on our life and lives of 1.2 billion people. comparing with all battles and wars that took place in the entire history. In the year 800 AD, in the Battle of Karbala, Imam Hussein was ruthlessly martyred. But Imam Hussein's legacy lives on. Imam Hussein's legacy lives on because Imam Hussein is seen as the international ideology. I'm interested in mentioning some quotes from famous thinkers and leaders who don't belong to Islam, as we have famous verses in the Persian language. خوشتر آن که سر دلبران گفته آید در حدیث دیگران. Gandhi affected Martin Luther King. Gandhi affected Nelson Mandela. When you talk of peaceful resistance, you talk of Gandhi. Did anyone ask ever who was Gandhi affected by? As I don't want to change a single word, I quote as it is. Indian leader Mahatma Gandhi said, I learned from Hussein how to attain victory while being oppressed. Mahatma Gandhi writes, my faith is that the progress of Islam does not depend on use of sword by its believers, but the result of the supreme sacrifice of Hussein, the great saint. Gandhi continues, I have looked in the biography of Imam al-Hussein, the great martyr of Islam, and I have scrutinized the tragedy of Karbala and reached the conclusion that if India wishes to achieve victory, it has to model after al-Hussein. Charles Dickens, English novelist, writes, if Hussein had fought to quench his worldly desires, then I don't understand why his sister, wife, and children accompanied him. It stands to reason, therefore, that he sacrificed purely for Islam. Anthony Barra, Lebanese Christian writer, writes, no battle in the modern and past history of mankind has earned more sympathy and admiration, as well as provided more lessons than the martyrdom of Hussein in the Battle of Karbala. The Hungarian writer Georgi Lakas said, the concept of Hussein were centered on a free nature aimed to make the people of his nation happy in their life, to be able to face the drastic rulers who enslaved them and who Hussein confronted with all his strength and determination. The Japanese writer Koyana, he stated in some of his texts, the revolution of Imam Hussein has enlightened the path of salvation to the oppressed. Firm their attitudes, pulled them out of misguidance, and clear to their minds roots of justice. The French author Victor Hugo said, the principles of Hussein's revolution became an approach to every rebel who wants to take his rights from his oppressors. The Russian thinker Ogara said, Hussein became a model who was emulated by every oppressed nation which suffered from abuse and inequity of the rulers who built their shaky thrones on the skulls of the oppressed.